Oh, huh. We're back. What up? Um, I told, I thought it was interesting at the point when I committed to doing this. So believe me, there was something. I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. My cat, he's a young fella. You know, he's kind of like me, like fuck authority. You know. Have you seen the cat, Dad? You seen my cat? You seen Mr. Cat? No, he's in here with him. It's hot. It's real hot today. Well, it's hermit, as they say. It's not hot. It's hermit. Hmm. So there are a few issues since last we spoke, or since last I spoke to myself. The Hobby Maid saga has not made any steps towards being resolved. Um, I ordered some shit from Hobby Maid, and one of the things they sent me was a empty box. It should have contained a run cam like device, but it didn't. So I'm short a camera. I'm an avid builder, right? Life is short. I'm on whatever you call it, a streak, a bender maybe. So I need more parts. Otherwise, I have to stop doing what I'm doing. And already, I've built one of the coolest quadcopters that I've come across in my life so far. I built it. Yeah, I did. I didn't necessarily conceive of the idea because somebody else maybe did that. Somebody else discovered the $3 motors, which is what it is. This little building renaissance would not be happening were it not for those sweet, sweet $3 motors. And I built two quads with the $3 motors so far, right? Given enough time and enough motors, I mean, I will build a line of quadcopters. Like I could build 5 of them a day by myself, probably, with these stacks and $3 motors. The Hobby Mate saga has it reminded me to pay attention and don't just click buy. But it also has forced me to adapt and evolve or whatever. So, other than them not giving me anything but an empty box for a run cam, I'm okay with it. But no, I will not accept an empty box for a run cam. Never. Nor should I, nor anyone else. Like they're little weird ass 3-inch frames, right? But they don't have the 20 millimeter holes for mounting the stack. They got the regular 35 millimeter holes. So you can see that, to me, not everything connects up over there at Hobby Mate. And then their non-existent customer service. They're always there to ask for something, but they're never there to provide assistance for their products after the sale. I've noticed this, and I'm damn sure near cutting, just deciding, okay, it's not. There's millions of choices. There's no point in keeping them in the selection process. Take them out. I've got some minimum standards that all vendors must go by, and GearBest and Banggood, if they can do it, shit, anybody can do it. The only complaint I have about GearBest or Banggood is one minor thing, and over the whole completeness of our transactions, it doesn't mean a thing. So, obviously they're in my good book. However, I've never really run into them. I've never had any issues. Like, they haven't made any mistakes on my orders, so we've never had to go down that road of refund or seeking a refund or redress or anything. And for the most part, they haven't had the empty box issue like so many of these companies seem to have. Like, come on, man. In my opinion, it's pretty easy to tell if this stuff was pilfered stateside or if they just put an empty box in there. And the way the labels are on there, the shipping labels, not any marketing labels, the shipping labels, the way that stuff works. And I ship stuff and sell stuff too. I'd hold myself to the same standard. If something I sent out was an empty box and it was sealed, then it's my fault. Obviously somehow I put an empty box in there and then I put the shipping label on and send it out. Now, it's not that it's impossible to fake a shipping label open, but it's hard as shit. I mean, I try to reuse boxes, man. It's damn near impossible to get those shipping label off there in a way that you could reuse them or something like that. I just can't see that happening in any steam bath or anything I can conceive of. My experience with the labels is that they're not going to withstand that. You would notice. And the shipping labels I'm getting are pristine. This is the way they left the shop, or final hands. Whoever put that shipping label on there, that's the last hands who touched that box when it was open. So whatever that means, to me it means that, okay, they more than likely put an empty box in there at the warehouse. If it's not that, then their shipping people and customs people have sticky fingers, which seems unrealistic because unless they're letting noobs and new employees steal shit, you know, if it's a systematic thing, people know how to steal. They're not going to leave the evidence. You know what I mean? So, and I wouldn't think that if they're not leaving evidence, it's a large scale systematic thing. Then they're not going to be stealing individual cameras out of people's shit. You know, the consequences outweigh any potential reward from pilfering individual boxes that are this big. No thief is going to do that. You know, unless it's a volume thief and they're opening all the boxes. You know, does that happen? Sure, but we're going with what's most likely. I'm going with what's most likely, and what's most likely is that they put an empty box in my shit and put the shipping label on it after that and shipped it out, and nobody touched it. It was just an empty box from day one. So if I had to guess, if I had to bet, that's what I would put my money on. They did not. They put an empty box in the fucking ship. So now we wait to hear their broken English denials and all this nonsense and obfuscation and trying to cover it up and until they eventually say outright, no, we're not giving you a refund. That's what I would put my money on happening because it's happened more times than I can count with the same type of vendor. Now I don't mean that racially. I mean the same. They're selling the same stuff. They're the same size company. You know, they're in the same at the same market. Uh, they're virtually interchangeable, like Gear Best and Bangle. So you know what I mean. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying. But yeah. Yeah, I'm done.